Okay, I'm here with Sylvie Mitchell, and we've had a conversation about where she came from and where she's going and her transformation and the things that have sparked her along the way and have created a path towards where she wants to go. And so in this conversation that we've had, it's been really cool to listen to what she's done. So go ahead. Let's first talk about. You said you had bouts of anxiety when you were younger. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that it was kind of. I don't want to use really the word debilitating, but it kind of kept you stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. It did.
So, and that started at about the age of 12. Is that correct?
So I've had like anxiety and anxiety spells my whole life, but my anxiety didn't get to the point where I really had to worry about it or focus on it until I was about 12 years old.
Okay. And then what happened? How did you get past this part to where you could manage it?
So basically, it had gotten to the point where I was having panic attacks almost daily, and that was when I realized I needed to do something different. What I was doing wouldn't work out, and so I had talked to my mom some, and she basically let me know that she felt like it had gotten to the point where I should start to go to therapy and maybe see a therapist for a while.
And so the therapist really, gave you some insight about what you could do for yourself, right?
Yes, she really did. I'd say that the main thing therapy really helped me with was really realizing that, I have the power in my life. I can change my life if I want to, or I have, I can make a difference in my life. I have the power to manipulate it myself, make it do what I want it to do.
Yeah, and so you were doing you decided you were going to do little things to make a difference. And it was the little things that created big changes in your life.
Yeah.
So give me one of those instances.
So there's really small things. When I had first started therapy, she asked me something really simple, what's a goal you have? It was one of the first questions she asked me. And it may sound really funny, but at the time it was to be able to walk alongside railroad tracks. And it sounds so simple, but it was, for me it was a big thing because I had tried before, but I would start having such intense feelings when I would try to, and it would be really scary for me. I don't want to say fear, but I will say anxiety. It made me anxious. And so I couldn't do it. I really, at the time, I couldn't because it would cause an attack. But I talked to her and she said, well, do this in your life, let's make this happen. And I did.
And so now you can walk alongside the tracks and you feel amazing.
Now I can walk alongside the tracks, next to the sunset, and I feel great. So, yeah, it's really nice.
And so that led to other, because you found that you were able to succeed at that, and so you wanted to try something else in order to challenge yet another fear.
Yeah.
And that helped to reduce the anxiety the more you kept doing those
the
things.
the more things like that I did, the more I challenged myself, the better my anxiety got. The more I really pushed myself, the better I felt. So
one of the things you had mentioned was that you used to swing. Your parents had a swing in the backyard that was really high.
Yeah, so my parents had a swing in our backyard, and it would go about 14 feet in the air, and it was great, and it felt like you were flying, and it was the most freeing feeling in the world. And it wasn't scary in any way though, because you could hold on to the ropes and you had a solid platform underneath you, so it felt amazing. But one day I was on the swing at night, and it was 9 o'clock or something, and it broke while I was 14 feet in the air, and I fell 14 feet onto a rock wall, and off the rock wall into a pile of gravel. So after that, there was no more swing. There was a whole ER trip and all this and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, no swing after that. We were not putting it back up. So basically I had to find another way to fly.
And so then you kind of did your own research, and you found the idea of silks used in trapeze.
Yeah.
Right? And so
yeah, the silks used in like circus training and things like that. Yeah.
So that really got you pumped, and so
Yeah,
you're
it
going to try to
did.
find a place nearby to be able to do that.
Yeah, so I started looking online and I found a school really close by, only about 20 miles from here. And so I called the person and said, hey, can I sit in on a class? And I sat in on a class and it looked amazing to me. So, I instantly signed up for a 6-week session.
And when you walked in, you knew this is where you wanted to be.
Yeah, it was the first time I went to a class. I walked in, and for the first time in my life, I was fully present in the moment. It's the only thing in my life that when I walked in, that's all I was thinking about.
So you knew at that time, it's like, okay, that when you're really present and you're really wanting to be where you're at, then everything just kind of starts falling into place, because you had said you knew you were in the right place when you went to go buy some equipment that you could practice at home. And you found some equipment that was...
I did.
Normally $3,000.
Yeah, it was a $3,000 portable aerial rig that I found on Craigslist, and I went and talked to the people, and it just happened to be the perfect day because it looked like there'd be no way in the world that this rig would work for me. So I gave a low ball amount, and they said, all right, that's fine. We just want it gone. And I came by 2 days later, and, the ice was off of it at that point, so it was perfect. Like it was a perfect rig. So I spent $500 on what's a $3,000 rig, and it's been amazing because I've been able to take it to shows with me.
And you knew this was like...
this was the universe. The universe made this happen for me. I feel like the universe has kind of always had my back, because whether you're having like ups or downs or highs or low, it's so important to, to be able to really feel a high, you have to have a low. Things like that. And, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Like, I honestly believe that everything happens for a reason.
Well, we're going to jump to the part where you can show us a little bit about what you have perfected and what you've done to make your dream a reality.
Yeah.